Hi guys, Caroline from the future of this episode, but in the past as you watch this. I am 25 years old currently, living in the middle of Los Angeles, California, and you are watching Unrelatable. My friend Emily is going to be on this episode with me talking about her personal journey and a lot of ups and downs and a lot of cringy moments, and I just wanted to, again, come on here and say, buckle up, prepare yourself, potentially cringe, and enjoy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Unrelatable. I am very excited, if you can't tell by the smiles, to introduce my lovely guest. Her name is Emily, and we have an extremely interesting, kind of insane way of meeting, which I guess I'll just really quickly touch on, and if you have anything to add.
Please, take it away.
So basically, Emily is the third child in my family. We're not related, but I have a younger brother, and my parents have 6 pets. I've talked about our pets a couple times on here. One of them is a cat with folded little ears, the cat that my mom pawned off of me post-COVID, and 3 corgis and 2 other cats. And so basically during COVID, my parents had Emily watching over the animals when they were out of town, and I stumbled into the house after a really bad date and came across Emily making peanut butter cookies, and the rest is history. So it sounds fake, but it's not.
It does. And I also didn't know you were coming, so it was like a nice meet cute surprise of oh, now I get a new friend.
One told you I was coming?
No. I was like, okay, it's either going to be the family or I'm getting burgled and I need to fight. I wasn't sure.
That's insane. Okay, well, it was me, and I was in a very interesting stage in my life.
Mm-hmm. We had a very sudden debrief of the terrible date. And then we bonded over love for horror movies. We baked. We came up with, and by came up with, I mean we used grocery store bought products for the best cookies ever.
That we still bake.
To this day.
Every few weeks. They're Betty Crocker, one ingredient, which is cooking oil and a little bit of water. And they taste fucking good. And that's what we do when we hang out and we watch horror movies. And it's interesting because I just did an episode on COVID and quarantine and being kind of isolated and in a box. And it was an interesting time to meet each other because we weren't seeing other people, and except for, a couple people here in their family, a couple friends. But it was this accidental friendship that was also in my, I guess, environment. So I felt very comfortable very quickly, and obviously you're at this point basically family to my family, and I still don't think I've met yours. I've met your dad maybe once, but
we need to make this happen.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? That feels so wrong to me.
But okay, so for context, how do our parents know each other, and how did that come? How did you end up getting a phone call from my mother saying, "Can you watch my pets, because I don't trust my own kids to watch my pets?"
Our parents met doing the Maze Runner together.
Okay.
And so I think because your mom runs Gotham and represented the IP of the Maze Runner book and was brought on as a producer for the movies, and my dad was a producer as well.
Okay.
And I believe they hit it off right away. It was one of those fast friendships. And then I was also at the point in my life where I was looking for a summer internship.
Yeah.
So it was one of those beautiful Nepo hires.
You're oh, hire me. Love it.
I interned at Gotham and ended up loving it absolutely so much that I went back 2 summers in a row instead of diversifying my internships.
Wow.
I was like, oh, these people are the best. And then I started working as an assistant on desks. I would temp different desks. And when the pandemic hit, I remember that Thursday when everyone was sent home, I was temping on someone's desk who was out sick. And I remember your mom coming out all masked up, all gloved up. And this was before masks were a thing. So I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And was like sending everyone home. And I was, oh, I've definitely caught whatever this was from this desk. And then we started watching The House during the
You're like,
pandemic.
who the fuck is this kid coming into this house trying to be my friend right now? I was like, nice to meet you. Can I please tell you about this terrifying date I just went on?
Yeah. And I remember being like, is it okay that we're sitting on the couch together? Like, I'm like, we're like in contact, but I guess we're living here. So it's
scary.
Yeah.
So scary. But it was very like isolated and like contained friendship. But interesting way to meet. And I guess now, 3 years later, it was like 4 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like 4 years later, we're collaborators. We're working on projects together. We're developing a show, and we have this amazing film that we're trying to get made. And we are constantly trying to find ways to work together and grow as creatives. And we also obviously have our occasional like horror movie and cooking and fun vibes.
Of course.
But it's really cool kind of over the years how an accidental run-in when I was just trying to escape this horrible date that I didn't want my parents to know I was on became one of my close friends. I guess, you know, I could introduce you and I could say all these things, but I want to know if someone were in an elevator and we're like, Emily, who are you? What would you say?
Oh, I love that question. I would say picture middle of nowhere Saskatchewan, small farm town, came from a family of farmers and priests, moved to the big city of Toronto, was raised by a filmmaker and a storytime children's librarian who got her start in criminology.
What?
So whatever mix that is, my mom's a whole nother story, I'll have to tell you.
Wow.
And then fell in love with sketch comedy, became like a fiend for Canadian sketch comics like Rick Mercer, fell in love with Codco, and then eventually started playwriting, became like a very pretentious novelist playwright, and then refound my love for comedy, and now I'm back in LA.
So what goes on with your like sketch comedy love today, and how are you like embracing that in your life?
Oh my gosh, so many wigs. I have a very small closet, and half of it is my real clothes and the other half is just character costumes. And
Stop.
It's so bad. I have a monthly sketch show with my team.
Okay.
I'm a big character comic, so anything that comes from silliness coming from the point of view of people, I think people are the most interesting, wonderful things ever. So anytime I can point out a flaw or something a little quirky in myself and make it big, and be like, this is who I am, isn't it silly? That's my favorite feeling in the world. But I'm at UCB, I'm at the Groundlings, at the Pack Theater in LA. Anytime I can try to come up with a joke and share it with somebody, that's what I'm trying to do.
It's so interesting because I didn't realize like how insanely outgoing you were as a comedian until you showed me your sketches. And I was like, what is going on? Because the hair is like bright and crazy and fun, but your personality is definitely a little bit more like gentle and it's less like the shit that I saw on your period sketch with the little tween and I'm like, who is this person? I love this. It's like just flipped a switch and I'm like, who is that?
100%. I'm so introverted and shy in real life.
No, literally, it's insane.
Which
how
is why
you,
I need the craziness.
And I guess like going off of that, like how as an introverted shy person are you able to get on stage and fake having your first period at your crush's house and looking down on his gaming chair and seeing a puddle of blood and then having to do a Just Dance routine with him with the period blood on your whole backside? Like, how do you go from being such a shy, sweet person to that?
I think it's something of it's not me when I'm on stage. Like if I went up as a stand-up or I went up as a musician, I would be petrified. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would have terrible stage fright.
Okay.
But the fact that I can put on a costume and a wig and a silly voice and become someone else, even if those weird flaws, because the sketch you're talking about is based on 13-year-old Emily and my weird quirks and not really understanding how to communicate with people. That makes me able to get crazy and let loose. And when you feel that other people are seeing your weirdness and laughing with you and seeing themselves in it, that is the most rewarding feeling in the world.
Yeah. It like fully also took me back to the day when I was in 8th grade and I was like, I was ready. I already had a pad on and I wasn't even on my period. And I was like, bitch, guess what? To the girl in the stall next to me, I'm like, guess what? I just got my period. Yeah. Guess what? But you weren't ready, were you? You were just free balling it and like it just happened.
Yeah, no, I got my period the summer I moved here. It was like the big summer of my life. We call it the big 3 because I moved countries, I got my period, and I realized I was gay all in the span of like 3 weeks. And then I started middle school. Truly terrible times. Luckily.
So how old were you?
I was 11.
Okay, so just to recap, an 11-year-old kid moves countries, gets her period, and realizes she's gay. So you knew when you were 11 years old.
Yeah. I had like, you know, when everyone says, oh, I always knew, like I had sneaking suspicions, but it wasn't until then that I kind of understood what sexuality was and what this attraction meant in the greater sense. Yeah. Oh my God. But I grew up watching The Princess Bride and being desperately in love with Princess Buttercup.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Yes. My big crushes as a kid, this is kind of embarrassing, were like cartoon characters.
Shut the fuck up. Do you ever go on Twitter and see when people like post like the shark from Shark Tale and they're like, oh, damn. Like people fully, like I get it. Like as an adult, as a kid, I didn't fully understand.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because it's kind of weird. Mine were so specific too.
Okay, let's hear them.
Like, oh, it's so embarrassing. Did you watch Total Drama Island?
Yeah. Okay, I get that though.
Okay.
I get those because I thought the boys were cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, for those who don't know, it is a Survivor cartoon, basically. It's like a reality show like Survivor in the behind the scenes filming. And they have the hottest cartoon characters. There's like a
Was it like the goth girl that you liked?
Oh, you mean Gwen? Yes.
Okay, so Gwen from Total Drama Island.
Also Courtney
And
from
Courtney.
Total Drama
Oh, I
Island.
remember her too. Okay.
Those are my
I thought
two.
the boys were cute in that show. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a Survivor girly, so
Yeah.
I grew up watching that since I was literally 3 years old.
Yeah, they did a good job with those. I get it. Who are your other crushes that are cartoon characters?
Those were the cartoons. I also had a big phase of like the literal reality TV show Survivor. Amanda Parvati, of course. And then most recently Aubrey Bracco was one of my girlies. She was like the nerdy one on Brains, Bronze, Beauty.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
Don't worry, I'll educate you. Gosh, but there's been so many. And then I became, in like end of middle school, I discovered that I wanted to be like a cool music girly. So I was getting really into Joan Jett, and Linda Perry was a big one for me. Yeah.
Period.
So I was the Hot Topic girly.
Yes. Yes. Did you ever ride the school bus and sit in the back with your earphones and like lean against the window and look out the window? Or was that never a thing?
I never rode a school bus to school. I was dropped off by my mother, and she had 3
Nice.
CDs in her car. One was Shania Twain's Greatest Hits, one was Mamma Mia, and one was the Chicago soundtrack.
Okay, all good stuff.
Yes. And to this day, any single song, any word, I will know on
You know
those
what
2
I
albums.
had in my CD car to school experience?
What?
Ozzy Osbourne, one of his random albums that I know all the lyrics to, and Supertramp, don't know the album either, and one of the Beatles albums. Like the fuck, what's it called? It's the red with the yellow. I feel like there's like it yeah. All the good stuff. It was like the remastered, like it wasn't Sgt. Pepper. It was the one with the the red with the yellow, like, I think it was their remastered album. I don't think it was an album. But anyways, all my Crazy English British Nanny. And then I rode the school bus with my earphones in, and it was one. I was going to say four. Yeah, it was one. It was the one. But the Ozzy Osbourne one was like the...
That's wild.
You were like literally singing like Mamma Mia, and I'm sitting there like screaming like Ozzy Osbourne like eating a bat on stage. Like that was me as a kid.
That's why you turned out so cool.
Yeah. But okay, so back to you. As much as you love hearing about Ozzy Osbourne, what was it like, and how do you remember your coming out story as an 11-year-old?
I do. Yeah, I didn't come out publicly until I was 13. So
that's
old.
Still so young. Like, that's also genuinely, like, just coming from like a friend's perspective, like, so admirable as like a child. Like, that's so young. I thought I was like a grown adult when I was like a 11-year-old kid. So I can understand like where you think you know everything.
Yeah.
But like, I think with sexuality specifically, like, that is like far beyond your years to be like a 13-year-old kid being like, I'm gay. Like, hey everyone, I'm Emily. Like, I know who I am.
It's so funny because I think at the time it didn't feel like such a huge thing. I just felt like I've always been so type A and gather the facts and present the data kind of person.
Yeah.
So I think I was just like, oh, I'm trying to figure out my identity. This part's clicked into place. Like, let me let people know.
Yeah.
And looking back, now I'm like, oh, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
It's huge. Yeah.
I knew I came out to myself when I was 11 because I've had a series. Truly, shout out to AYSO.
I did AYSO.
Good.
Yeah.
It is exclusively the reason I know I'm queer, I think.
Are you serious?
100%. If you took like a timeline of all the crushes I had from like middle
Just
school,
soccer, basketball, softball.
100% like a midfielder on every soccer team I've ever been on.
Did you do the Beverly Hills League, or was that AYSO is the soccer?
Yeah, it's soccer.
Okay.
I grew up in Toronto, and then I moved to Oak Park, so it was like Ventura County.
Okay, well, at least you weren't in the fucking... But I did, yeah, so there's AYSO, and then there's the BHBL, which is the Beverly Hills Basketball League.
Okay. I didn't know you played basketball.
Dude, I was out there, yeah. I was so small. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. So you were like, you like kind of, it clicked for you at that point. Like, and from that moment on, like, how did understanding your identity that young help you grow, like in middle school and high school? Like, do you think that having an understanding and being kind of, you know, more just like on the forefront, like, this is my pieces of my identity. Obviously it takes years to figure out who you are, but hence why I'm doing this podcast. But like, was that helpful for you, do you think, in getting through those certain experiences that are otherwise hard for people that haven't figured those things out?
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting because in all the depictions of queerness that I grew up around, like with Degrassi or with Glee, coming out is the storyline. So it's always like a kid's closeted, is trying to figure it out, and coming out's like the big third act thing, and then it's either received well or received poorly. Yeah. So I was at this weird precipice where I had to figure out what coming of age meant after I came out, because I came out so early. So that storyline was done for me. And now I still was struggling with crushes. I was still struggling with who I was, even though I had this piece of the puzzle. I still had to figure out what I liked, what I didn't like, how I communicated, how I loved. Like, I feel like it wasn't really represented. Also, just how I've been so blessed and privileged with how loving and receiving my family has been. Especially, I have 2 younger brothers, and they were so young when I told them and never batted an eye, and my parents have been wonderful. And the homophobia and things I received at school and in the locker room, like, I think I had that core love so set that it didn't really impact me.
I'm really curious to hear about what was your first like real, not relationship, but like experience, like out proud, like with another woman.
Ooh.
Or just like your first crush, like real crush.
I have a couple stories for you. My first unreciprocated crush was on, spoiler alert, soccer midfielder. And she was so like queer and kind of tomboy, but not, and it confused me so much, but I was head over heels in love with her. And I was also so cocky, as like I was probably 16 at this point. Don't know who gave me the confidence. Truly, I will show you photos of what I looked like. But I was like, if this girl just knows I like her, like game over, right? Like I just need to let her know somehow. And I was also so romantic and such like a sentimental gal. So like a normal person, I find out what number her locker is. It's so bad.
Holy
Caroline.
shit. Okay.
And I write her this like anonymous letter, and I'm like, hey, I just picked a random locker and put this letter in, and if you want to be like anonymous pen pals and, you know, share stories and jokes, like this is my locker number. We never need to know each other's identity. Like it can just be a surprise. Thinking that, oh, she's gonna like love that. She doesn't know it's me. When she does know it's me, game over, we're gonna fall in love. And so me and my best friend, we were crouched behind a bush, like watching her open her locker, just like being girls. And I swear to God, I see her read the letter. We're like, ooh, this is the beginning of the rest of my life. And she walks over and she throws it in the trash can right in front of me.
Oh, God.
It's like, ooh, that one still hurts.
Okay, but honestly, like that is the making for a early 2000s rom-com. Like full.
Yeah.
Like I would have watched that movie. Like that reminds me of Cinderella Story with Chad Michael Murray, where they're like texting on their little flip phones. And he's like, who is this girl?
Yes. I was always writing stories for myself. Like I wanted a very cinematic experience, especially for all my firsts.
That's how I was.
Yes.
They weren't cinematic, but like I tried to micromanage everything.
Yes.
So hard.
We're just control girlies.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be
The
perfect.
amount of talking about control I've done, especially in front of a camera, which is extremely difficult to do sometimes, but it's good. But yeah, dude, like first kiss, just like needed it to be a very specific way for my memories, which God knows everyone else has random stories that are hilarious, and mine are like, why is this so like set up? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a first unreciprocated crush story?
Probably a lot. Let me think of like I guess like the best one, which like it just never ended up being anything, and I just knew he didn't like me. But it was this guy where went to school with him, and I think around the second grade I started having a crush on him. And we were in the same class every year. And then sixth grade, he's about to go to Harvard Westlake, like to go live his dream of being a smart dude. And I was about to go live my dreams off at Windward, where it ended up being terrible 2 years and had to leave. And we were in the ceramics room with our we had these like little kind of like scenes for our senior sixth grade year, where they're like, we just made little rooms, and like we made little clay figures of ourselves. Ooh. I couldn't tell you what mine was. God knows they had us doing the craziest shit as sixth graders, but I loved it because I was like all for the artsy stuff. And we were in the room, and I was like, I need to either try to kiss him or tell him that I like him. And I totally got scared, and I never told him, but like he totally knew I liked him, but he didn't like me back. But in the fourth grade, I went through a whole phase with this guy where I would call his house on my landline and make play dates with him, and I'd go over and play with him.
She knows what she wants.
But I dressed like a little boy, and I thought that would make them like me if I was like weird and wanted to play like Toontown and like basketball.
One of the boys.
Yeah, well that doesn't work because then they just think you're one of the boys. But anyways, he kind of glowed down. I saw him at the high school senior elementary school reunion college send-off party, and I was like, okay, I feel better about this.
That's always a nice feeling.
Yeah, I mean, listen, hope he's doing well. I really should have told him I liked him.
Well, there's always time.
I'm good now. I'm so
Drop
good.
the name.
I'm so good. I don't. Yeah, there have been moments where it's like I don't think I've ever though, like, the only like good guy friend that I like genuinely had a crush on that I told later, it was like too late at that point, but he was like, if you had told me, like, I totally like would have like been interested in like seeing where things went.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a movie.
Yeah, it sucks, but like whatever. I think he has like a girlfriend now. I don't really honestly remember, but I fully was like, yeah, no, I fully liked you.
Oh, that's like past lives.
Yeah, it was sad, but at the same time, like, I think the biggest thing that like going through all the health stuff I went through, and also just like the whole going through COVID, like the whole like world shutting down and everything, like the biggest thing for me is like just telling people how you feel and being straight up, and like, you know, there's really no time like the present. So
it's so funny because I had in college like an experimental maybe I am bi phase. It's kind of the reverse of like when girls experiment with girls. I was like, okay, let's see, and it was quickly shut down.
Yeah.
To sum that one up, I was at summer camp, and it was a man who wore like synthetic psychedelic tops and played the didgeridoo named Brogan, and that's his real last name. And he studied bugs.
Didgeridoo?
Uh-huh. You ever been in an art shed with a man playing the didgeridoo, Caroline?
Where do you find these people, honestly?
YMCA.
Jesus. Okay, so you said it was quickly shut down. Like, did you try to kiss this guy, or like what happened?
Yes. We kissed a little bit.
Okay.
And I was at the time still a virgin, still like not really down for more, and it was clear he wanted more, so I kind of like, I don't know, like pushed that away. I was like, oh, maybe not. And then he asked me if I'd ever made bug noises before during making out. Have I not told you this story?
The amount of times that I've actually covered my face and turned when you say something, I don't know what the reaction is happening right now, but I keep covering my face. Like, I'm trying to like shield myself. What is a bug noise? What does that mean?
I assume it's when you like, maybe you're like getting a little saucy and you go into someone's ear and it's kind of like ASMR, like bug noises. Like little. Oh
my God. Okay, so
do them right now.
I would like a like that kind of vibe. I did not give him said bug noises, to be clear.
I'm like actually in shock right now. Okay.
And I was like, I think that I am fully gay. I was like, actually, this has broken me. I'm leaving the art shed.
Has broken you.
Yeah, Brogan. That it feels like a fake name. It really does.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the last name off camera too because it rhymes, but I don't want to full legal name him on.
Or you could say it and then we could like bleep it so we can have like a reaction.
Okay, I'll say Brogan. Brogan who likes bugs. It's like a tongue twister.
I hate it. I hate it. Okay. I feel like he looks like the kind of guy that like literally like doesn't shave or shower, like just to like see how long like his natural like body oils can like clean. Do you know those people that are like, I haven't showered in a year and my hair doesn't look bad?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you definitely need to take a fucking shower. Like,
I'll get this queued up for you. This is so bad, Caroline.
I knew it. I fully was picturing that in my head. I'm not even joking. Oh my God. He's exactly what you picture him to look like. Wow. Okay.
So I had that little experience and was like, no, I'm on the lady train. We're good. I was right early on. Labels are good and bad because I think they can be so stifling and suffocating, and they do limit growth. So as you grow and as you change, the labels will change too.
Yeah.
And I think in another way, the way to love someone, in my opinion, is to understand them. And the pursuit of understanding is how I show and communicate love with people. So I think labels historically in my life have been a tool to communicate who I am and how I see the world to the people I love. So right. I think that's why I've been hitting this wall of like, okay, what's my label? What's the word? Well, none of it matters because the people who love me know me outside of these words now. They know the deeper layers. And it doesn't matter if I have a crush on some weird bug guy. Like, that just happens sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. The whole point of the story is if you end up having a crush on a bug guy, it's okay.
Yeah, and if he plays a didgeridoo, like, just walk, man. You don't need that.
Just walk, man. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, this has definitely been one of my favorite episodes thus far, and for a multitude of reasons, but mostly just because I think it's really admirable to talk to someone that I see all the time, that, you know, I kind of hear these little bits and pieces, but being able to like lay it out and look at all of it together and talk about it, and like really the importance of identity when, you know, you've seen so many changes in my life too, like things that are completely out of my control and things that have been completely in my control, both good and bad, but, you know, really being able to like see who we've become, from the fucking bad date to the making cookies to the watching horror movies, and just the 4 years we've known each other. But I'm really excited to be able to share this with the world.
And thank you so much for having me as well.
Of course.
I think there's something where I think we're very similar, and
Yeah.
a lot of the ways we struggle with control and just, I am a severe perfectionist, have a lot to do with, at least for me, identity and building who I am, and wanting how I want to be perceived, how I want to communicate with the world. And I read this amazing quote the other day that I think you will like too, because it's music themed.
No big deal.
It's a little plug. But it's the idea that we're already born having achieved, like, we don't need to achieve anything to be loved, we don't need to define ourselves as anything to be loved, but it's the idea that you are the song and the rest is just applause. Like,
Yeah.
you were born the song, and everything that follows is just celebrating what you already are.
It's that, I freaking love that. I love that. Let's take that and throw it on a t-shirt and make money off of it.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's so good. I love that. That really hits. I do think that, yeah, I mean, the story's been written, you know what I mean? So you constantly learn things about yourself, things that you like, that you don't like. And yeah, I mean, it's cool to be able to kind of like continue shaping ourselves and our identities, and also being able to be there on the sidelines to watch the people in our lives make those moves and decisions. But yeah, thank you guys for for listening, and hopefully you made it all the way this far. And I will plug Emily constantly and be her biggest fan, but if you're just wanting to support Emily and her endeavors, do you want to like plug anything?
Sure. Twist my
I've never
arm.
done this before, but like, let's just do it. It's fun.
You can come see me live doing my weird period kid sketches every first Wednesday of the month at the Pack Theater with my team Corduroy. And keep your eye out for our very exciting horror projects coming down the road as well.
Exciting. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for tuning into Unrelatable, and really appreciate you, and very thankful for your viewership and your time, and hopefully you learned something, whether it is with dating or identity or friendship, or you just decided that, who fucking knows, maybe you had a self-epiphany during this episode that has nothing to do with it. But regardless, I'm going to take full what's the word?
Credit?
I'm going to take credit. What the fuck is wrong with my brain today? I'm going to take credit for that. But yes, thank you for watching, and have a lovely rest of your day. And thank you, Emily, again.
Thank you.
Bad date, can't relate, everything is